shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We have a heat advisory in effect for today. It's going to feel like 104 to 106 across the area. We'll walk through the timeline for the heat advisory.
State lawmakers have approved nearly $68 million in emergency funding to support the people and facilities that look after your children. Just ahead, why some say it's still not enough.
And the White House is addressing visits to the White House by a Parkinson's disease expert. What they're revealing for us this morning. 4:30 is the time. We'll bring you inside our WRL studio here on a Tuesday morning. Don't be fooled out there by the temperature. It is humid and sticky. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Renee Chu. Yes, summertime in North Carolina and a heat advisory today. Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Elizabeth, we are racking up these heat advisory days.
We really are. And coming up in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how many we've had this season and how unusual that is. Feeling like 104 to 106, the heat advisory is in effect for the entire viewing area. Of course, it goes into effect at around 11 and stays with us through the evening. So it's one of those days you don't want to really be outside doing much once we get past lunchtime. We have a small chance of a shower this morning, but a better chance of some scattered storms this afternoon. Very similar to yesterday. We didn't have a whole lot of coverage yesterday, and we won't see a lot of coverage today either. We'll check out Futurecast this morning. It's nice and clear. It's a beautiful morning. Enjoy it while we have it. We begin to cloud up a little bit around lunchtime, and then just a few isolated showers will pop up for us. So not much coverage for thunderstorms today. Take a live look at RDU this morning. Again, it's a quiet start, but it is warm and sticky. 78 right now, and the dew point is 73. So a very warm, sticky start. Our high this afternoon climbs to 98, so we're close to 100. Again, with that heat advisory. I'll show you how many more days look like this, but I will say we still have a good chance of rain toward the end of the week, something that I think we'll all be looking forward to.
Help is on the way for those who take care of your children. Governor Roy Cooper approved over $67 million to help keep child care centers open. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from the Legislative Building in Raleigh this morning. And Laura, this comes a week after federal funding came to a stop.
Yes, Jeff. Well, it was about 2 weeks ago when we were here and saw child care advocates rallying at the General Assembly, fighting for more funding. And now with this passage of this bill, we know the money will go towards things like raises for staff as well. Governor Cooper signed a bill providing emergency stoppage funding aimed at helping child care centers keep their doors open. The measure would authorize $67.5 million in state spending on child care subsidies. The emergency funds look to help as federal funding came to a stop at the end of June, but it's still far less than the $300 million many child care advocates wanted from the state. Some argue, as it stands now, this will create another funding cliff in December. This should at least buy lawmakers several months to work on a more permanent solution after failing to reach an agreement on how to spend the $1 billion budget surplus. So in a statement, Governor Cooper said lawmakers need to do much more by extending these grants through 2025. He said our children's future and economy depend on it. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
This morning, crews are working to restore power to 1 million people in the Houston area after Beryl hit Texas as a Cat 1 storm. Houston's main electricity provider says more than 2 million people were out of power at one point. Beryl brought torrential rain and 80-mile-an-hour winds to the area, causing flooding and storm surges. At least 3 people were killed in the Houston area. The storm is expected to weaken to a remnant low today.
You know, Renee, it's not just Texas, obviously, but Louisiana also seeing the impacts of Beryl as well. Good morning. I'm Chris Lovinggood here in the WRAL Live Center, showing you some video from around different parts of Louisiana. As you see here on your screen, there have been down power lines, trees that come down, damaged infrastructure, and you'll see here exactly what I'm talking about on your screen. Now, despite all of this, the front is still threatening flood in certain areas of western Louisiana as well. But we have also heard of several tornadoes were possible in these areas. Of course, it'll take a while before weather experts are able to get more information on this. But this just goes to show you the severity of the damage brought to not just Texas, but Louisiana as well.
A person is hurt after a shooting in a neighborhood in Wayne County. Deputies responded to a home on Sleepy Creek Drive near Dudley just before 9 o'clock last night. This is video from the WRL Breaking News Tracker. Wayne County Sheriff's Office says this was a domestic situation. Radio traffic from Broadcastify indicates more people may have been involved.
We're actually going to have 3 patients with this call. The shooting victim and then 2 other patients as well.
We reached out to Wayne County authorities to learn more about what happened and about the condition of the person who was shot.
Today, heads of state from around the world will meet in Washington, D.C. for the NATO summit. This is a live look at the Capitol building this morning. The summit marks the 75th anniversary of the military alliance that began after World War II. Some analysts say President Biden's candidacy could be the main focus instead of foreign policy. Biden will also try to convince allied countries to continue support for Ukraine. This comes after Russia yesterday launched its first major attack in months.
We're working to find out the name of the woman who died after her car crashed into a power pole in Goldsboro. It happened just before 6 last night at the intersection of Ash and Center Streets. 2 people were in the car at the time. The woman who died was the passenger. The driver was ticketed for speeding and failing to stay in the correct lane.
A Raleigh woman who says an Uber driver dropped her off in the wrong place on purpose is calling for improved safety measures. Camille Richardson, who is blind, will be joined by a group called Disability Law United for a news conference today. She says the driver left her more than a mile away from her destination after an Uber ride in May. Disability Law United says this highlights safety concerns and discrimination faced by disabled rideshare passengers. Their news conference starts at 11 this morning at the offices of Disability Rights North Carolina.
This morning, there are questions about who a Parkinson's expert was seeing during several visits to the White House. New York Times reports the expert also visited during the Obama administration at least 10 times. President Biden's doctor, Kevin O'Connor, released a letter last night. He says the president has not seen a neurologist outside of his annual physical. The news comes as President Biden again reaffirmed his decision to stay in the race, despite some calling for him to step aside. First Lady Jill Biden was in North Carolina yesterday for a campaign event. She did not directly address recent calls for her husband to step aside. She did say Joe has made it clear he is all in. She also stressed their ties to the military, including her son, and Biden's commitment to veterans and their families.
That's the decision that he's made. And just as he has always supported my career, I am all in too.
First Lady's visit is not the only campaign stop the Biden team is making to North Carolina this week. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit Greensboro Thursday.
A memorial ride in Rocky Mount took a surprising turn that seriously injured 2 motorcycle riders. They were with hundreds of other bikers when a witness says a car pushed them off the road. This happened during the Big Mike Memorial Ride on Saturday. The ride was organized to honor a beloved employee of Flying Iron Harley-Davidson. A witness says Linwood and Amy Mercer were knocked off their bikes when a car merged into the line of motorcycles on US 64. They were airlifted to a hospital in Greenville and are expected to recover. Rocky Mount police say no charges have been filed at this time.
When you pick up a carryout meal, you'll now be able to get a cocktail to go along with it. Governor Roy Cooper signed the bill into law yesterday. Any cocktails that are sold to go must be sold along with a food order. They can be no bigger than 24 ounces, and they must be sealed. The state first allowed restaurants and bars to do this during the pandemic.
Today, you can help teachers in Wake County get the supplies they need for the school year. Now through August 26th, you can team up with WRAL and Tools for Schools to support local teachers by donating to the Classroom Supply Drive. Teachers say their out-of-pocket spending exceeds, on average, more than $900 a year. They need supplies like pencils, Post-it notes, notebooks, and more. To find a drop-off location near you and more information on how to donate, go to WRAL.com and search school supplies.
A group of teenage backpackers is found safe after disappearing close to a wildfire burning in California.
We weren't sure how they were handling the situation.
How they were able to make it out safely from that forest.
And jury selection for the trial against Alec Baldwin gets underway today. The ruling from a judge that was a blow to the prosecution.
And we give you this live look in the Bull City, Durham, for the American Tobacco campus. It's going to be another hot day. Temperatures in the upper 90s. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner will time out our next chance for rain.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
It is 4:43. It is a warm and sticky start out there. Our skies are nice and clear, but of course that means that once that sun comes up, we're going to heat up really quickly. 76 in Southern Pines, 75 Tarboro and in Fayetteville, 74 in Irwin, 77 in Rocky Mount and Goldsboro. Temperatures by lunchtime will already be at 90. We're going to climb to 97, 98 this afternoon, and it will feel more like 105 to 106 across most of the viewing area. So just be careful out there. Anything that you need to get done outside, you want to do that early, including walking the dog. At lunchtime, we'll see a temperature of 91 and then a high of 98 for this afternoon. We also have a small chance for showers and thunderstorms. Not going to have a lot of rain today or tomorrow to cool us off, but that does change later in the week. I'll show you coming up.
Jury selection gets underway today in Alec Baldwin's criminal trial for the Rust movie set shooting. Baldwin is charged with involuntary manslaughter. The shooting on set killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured the film's director Joel Souza. It's unclear if the actor will take the stand to testify. Baldwin left the courthouse in Santa Fe, New Mexico yesterday afternoon after a hearing to go over pretrial motions. The judge ruled Baldwin's role as a producer of the Rust film is not relevant to the trial. Baldwin has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing and maintains that the gun malfunctioned. The trial is expected to last about 10 days. If convicted, Baldwin faces up to 18 months in jail.
A group of young hikers reported missing near the Royal Fire in California is back home safe this morning. Police knew something was wrong when they were doing a sweep of the fire and discovered the teens' cars in a parking lot Sunday night. A helicopter search crew spotted the hikers around 7 Monday morning. They say one of the older teens who knew the area led the hikers away from the Royal Fire. After 5 hours of hiking, they made it to a command center. Still, it was a nervous night for parents who are relieved their kids were found safe.
Relief. So relieved. So happy. It's just, that period of time when you don't know what's going on. And it's like, I know all these kids are capable, but yes, it's a pure relief.
The Royal Fire has burned more than 200 acres. The cause of that fire is under investigation.
Wake County Deputy Ned Byrd will be honored with a bridge in his name. County commissioners approved the move yesterday in remembrance of the deputy who was shot and killed on the job nearly 2 years ago. The Auburn-Knightdale Road Bridge over the Neuse River will be renamed the Ned P. Byrd Bridge. It is near the place where Byrd was killed in August 2022. Wake County Sheriff Willie Rowe says this is just one more way Byrd's legacy will live on.
I think it's just a way that we can rally together and know that Ned knows that we haven't forgotten him and that he's forever in our hearts.
Two brothers, Arturo and Alder Marine Sotelo, are charged with Byrd's murder. They face life in prison if convicted. There's no timeline yet for when the DOT will approve the name change for the bridge.
Durham police arrested a man accused of assaulting a woman on a Go Durham bus. Investigators say these surveillance pictures from the bus show Leandre Holman, and he's accused of punching a woman on a bus June 25th. Holman is charged with assault, inflicting serious injury, and assault on a female.
A scary situation on a lake in New Hampshire ends safely thanks to a teen's heroics. A bystander captured this video from July 3rd, showing a boat speeding around in circles. Well, witnesses say the driver of that boat fell into the water. And you can see a 17-year-old boy timing his jump off his boat and onto the runaway boat. And once he got on, he was able to cut the engine and bring that driverless boat to a stop. The boat didn't hit anything, and no one was hurt.
Hundreds of people from around the world were still drawn to Death Valley National Park yesterday, even though the region, known as one of the hottest places on Earth, is experiencing a dangerous heat wave. A motorcyclist died from suspected heat exposure at the park Saturday as temperatures soared to 128 degrees.
Honestly, it's definitely shocking. I don't know how anything can survive out here. You can definitely feel the heat on your skin. And I can see how it's probably the highest heat record out here. But it's definitely interesting to see.
Park officials are warning visitors to stay hydrated, bring sunscreen, and consult their doctor before visiting if they have a condition that may be worsened by extreme heat.
Even if you had plans to visit there, go there, the heat wave, that sounds miserable. we're having our own heat valley here. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Yeah, those are extreme temperatures there.
Yeah, January? I mean, that sounds like a lovely place to visit in January, doesn't it? You know, when it's cold and it's really warm there still. I don't know. People do interesting things, that's for sure. All right, we're waking up to clear skies this morning. Just a hint of a breeze here as we take a look at the legislative building here in downtown Raleigh. Our temperature right now 78, so it is a warm start this morning. Just a light wind out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. Our dew point is up at around 73 right now, so it feels very sticky and heavy this morning as you step out the door. And we'll hit 90 degrees by lunchtime. So we do have a heat advisory that's in effect for the entire viewing area today. It'll feel like 104 to 106 this afternoon. It'll really start to feel hot by lunchtime. So if you have anything that you need to get done outside, you want to do it well before lunchtime. The average, you may say, wait a minute, we've done this a bunch this year, haven't we? And we have. The average heat advisories for the year is between 8 and 9, and the average excessive heat warnings 1 to 2 for us here. So let's take a look at the calendar, and we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already heat advisories just in this last month, and it's only the 9th, and then 2 already excessive heat warnings, which happened last Friday and Saturday. So it has been a very hot month so far, and it doesn't look like that's going to change anytime soon. For today, 98, 97 in Raleigh, 98 in Fayetteville. We do have a small chance for thunderstorms, but it's not likely that that's going to help to cool us off at all. Looking at 105 this afternoon and again tomorrow, so it's certainly possible that the Weather Service would post another heat advisory again for tomorrow. So we do continue to add those up. Our dew point's at 73, and that's what it's all about. We have so much moisture in the atmosphere that your skin just can't help cool off your body. There's nowhere for your sweat to evaporate to, and that's what cools our bodies. So we're going to continue to see those high heat indices for the next several days, and so just keep that in mind. It would be nice to have some rain to come through. I love Tori Dupree's shot from McCoy. She sent us this Weather Watcher photo yesterday with a thunderstorm coming through, and we have a better chance for that later this week. We'd love to see your Weather Watcher photos. Go to WRL.com and search Weather Watchers. Satellite and radar is quiet right now, but we do have the potential for some pop-up storms later on this afternoon. We get all the way to lunchtime and see a bit more cloud cover filling in, and then just 1 or 2 little cells pop up. Most of us won't end up seeing rain today, but if you do, it may just feel a little bit more steamy. Now, we have a big pattern change coming Thursday into Friday. Thursday, some of our eastern counties may see some rain, but Friday looks like it could be a soaker for us, 84 degrees. So a cooler day. I'll show you how much rain we might see and how much it could help coming up.
Oh, we need it, and we know it can help. Thanks, Elizabeth. Starting this fall, Johns Hopkins Medical School will be free for most students. The requirements for those students to qualify.
And some wild weather spotted off the North Carolina coast, where this video of a water spout was captured. June was the 13th straight month of record warm temperatures. And then Friday was the hottest day ever at RDU Airport, reaching 106 degrees. When it's that hot outside, the last thing you want to do is get into an even hotter car. 5 Underside's Kelly Arthur shows us how to quickly cool down your ride fast and without wasting fuel.
Automatic start is a convenient way to get the cool air flowing in your car on a hot day, but it's not the most efficient.
Your car's air conditioning works much better when you're actually driving, because the faster the engine turns, the faster the AC compressor runs, which lets the system cool more effectively.
Consumer Reports' method also uses less fuel. Once you hit the road, turn on the air conditioner and open up all the windows for 10 to 20 seconds. Crank the fan. Once cold air starts flowing through the vents, roll up the front windows, but keep the rear ones cracked open for another 10 to 20 seconds. This pulls cold air to the back of the car. If you have passengers in the back seat, turn off recirculation mode so the air in the back doesn't get stale and hot.
Adjust the AC temperature to its lowest setting and make adjustments to the fan speed and direction to keep you comfortable. This will actually make the AC efficient, will dry out the air more, and can save some fuel.
Another word of advice, if you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic and you've got a newer car with an auto start-stop system, you may want to turn it off. While this feature saves fuel by shutting off the engine when you're stopped, it may also shut off the car's AC compressor, which you'll need to keep cool. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
Good to know. Don't you just hate opening your door of the parked car when it's sitting out in the sun? Ugh, it's like an oven. Just as you should check AC filters at home, Consumer Reports say you should also check your car's cabin air filter to make sure it's clean. A dirty filter prevents optimal airflow. Replacing them is usually inexpensive and simple to do yourself.
All right, take a look at this video taken in Oak Island yesterday. You can see what appears to be a water spout right there. Yeah, right off the coast. Then another photo here showing a different vantage point. These are courtesy of our WRAL weather watcher and intern Ethan Clark.
Johns Hopkins Medical School will be free for most students starting in the fall, thanks to a $1 billion donation from former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. The free tuition will be available to all students who come from families that earn less than $300,000 a year. Johns Hopkins will also cover living expenses for students from families with a yearly income of less than $175,000. The university says nearly 2/3 of students will immediately qualify.
A heat advisory is in effect today, and the high temperatures will stick around. Cumberland County is opening cooling centers throughout the week. This is to give you a place to cool off. County Department of Social Services and Department of Public Health lobbies will be available during normal business hours. You can also use any county library location to escape the heat. Parks and recreation centers and the Fayetteville area system of transit will be available as well.
This morning, more than 1 million people are without power in the Houston area after WRAL hit Texas. The new concern this morning with dangerous temperatures in the forecast.
And another scary moment on a Boeing flight when one of the tires falls off during takeoff.